Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to do a headband for the winter, an ear warmer in the waffle stitch pattern. So start by making your slip knot and we'll begin by doing a chain. So for my example, I'm going to be making it for an adult woman size. So I'm going to be doing my chain so that it reaches around 20 to 21 inches and measuring it against my own head. So that's going to be a different number of chains for everyone depending on how tightly you do your chaining. And because I know I do my chains quite tight, I've sized up to a size J hook for this, and then I will be sizing down to my H 5.0 millimeter hook for the rest of the piece when I'm doing my actual waffle stitches. So I'm going to begin by starting my chain. And I just need to make sure that I have an odd number of stitches. So I'm going to start chaining, and then I'm going to just go until I have about 21 inches, and then I will meet you back on the video. So make yourself a chain that's just a little bit shorter than the size that you need to fit around the head that you want to be, and I will include some sizes of headbands in the description so you can determine how long you need your chain to be, because that's going to be the size of your finished piece, and you want it to be a little bit smaller than the person's head that you're making it for so that it can stretch a little bit to stay on. Otherwise it's going to just slip right off. If it's the exact size of their head, then it'll just fall right off. And you want it to be just a little bit smaller so that it stretches a bit to stay on. That's what'll keep it on their head. So go ahead and chain the right number that you need to keep it on. Just for reference, that's going to be about 73 for an average tension for an adult's head. So go ahead and chain and then start the video again when you're ready. Okay, so I've got my chain here and I ended up doing 77 chains, and that gives me 20 inches with my J hook, and that's going to be just perfect. I'm using the Karen Cakes yarn in the red velvet color, and this yarn is really nice and stretchy, and because that has a little bit of wool in it, that's going to be really nice and warm. And for the next row, we're going to be doing a row of half double crochet. So what that looks like is we're going to do a chain one, and that's going to be our turning chain, and then we're going to go in the second chain from the hook. So we're going to count, I apologize, that's a little bit hard to see in the red velvet color. We're going to count, that's one chain from the hook, that's the second chain from the hook there. We're going to go into that one, we're going to yarn over and go into this chain here. Pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all three. And that's a half double crochet. So yarn over, go in through the next piece of the chain there, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all three. So do that until you've gone along the entire length of your chain. And then start the video again, and we'll move on to the next row of your ear warmer. Okay, so I've just finished doing that row of half double crochet, and I switched to the H hook to do that row. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain two and turn my work, and the next row will be a row of double crochet. So yarn over, go into that first stitch there, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two, and that's one double crochet. And then do that in each stitch until you reach the opposite end. And once you've done that, then in the next row we will start doing the actual waffle stitch. So do that until you get to the end, and then start the video again. Okay, now I'm going to start the actual waffle stitch of the pattern. So chain two, and turn your work. And then yarn over, and we're going to be doing front post double crochets, which are worked the same as double crochets, but the way you place your stitch is different. So yarn over, and then rather than going into the top of the stitch here, like a normal double crochet, you're going to go in here around this post. This is the post of the crochet. So you're going to insert your hook so that it goes around the back of the post, grab the yarn, pull it around the way that you came, and then yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, and that's a front post double crochet. So we're going to do one of those to make the beginning of our waffle stitch, and then 2 regular double crochets, which are worked into the top of the stitch as normal. So those normal ones are worked in right there. And then you're going to continue that pattern until you get to the end. A front post double crochet, which goes right there. Like that. And then 2 regular double crochets. So do 1 front post double crochet and 2 regular double crochets until you get to the end. And then meet me back up at the end of your piece. Okay, now I'm at the end, so regardless of where you are in your pattern, just leave the last 2 stitches as regular double crochets, not the front post ones. So now when you come to the end, do another chain 2 and turn your work. And then we're going to continue on with the same pattern, but we're going to reverse it because that's what's going to create our waffle look. So instead of doing 1 front post double crochet and 2 regular double crochets, we're going to do 2 front post double crochets where we had our regular double crochets from the previous row, and then 1 regular double crochet in the spot where we had the front post double crochet from the row before. So we're going to do, in those first 2 that were 2 regular double crochets where we ended, that chain 2 is going to count as our first regular front post double crochet. And then we're going to yarn over and do a front post double crochet right there on the next one. And then 1 double crochet in the next one. That was our front post double crochet in the row before. And then 2 front post double crochets. And 1 regular double crochet, which goes right there. And that's going to give us our waffle stitch. So on the back side, it's not going to look like a waffle, but then when we get back around, that's what's going to give us our waffle shape. So on the back side, which we're working on now, it doesn't look like a waffle, and on the other side it looks like a waffle. On the waffle stitch, it's not reversible, only one side looks like a waffle. So continue doing 2 front post double crochets and 1 regular double crochet until you get all the way to the end, and then start your video again. Okay, so I'm back at the opposite end again, and I'm going to make sure my last 2 stitches are just regular double crochets again. So I've got 1 regular double crochet here, and then my last one is going to be worked into the chain, because that chain 2 counts as your first stitch. So when I get back to the opposite end, you've got to work into your chain 2 from the previous row. So yarn over, and then I'm going to grab these 2 loops right there of the chain. I'm going to insert my hook into those loops, and I'm going to get 2 loops of the chain onto my hook, like that, and then pull up a loop through those, and then complete my double crochet as normal. And that's the waffle stitch. So I'm going to complete my headband doing those last 2 rows that I just did, alternating those 2 rows over and over. So again, chain 2 and turn your work, and then now I'm back on the front side again, which is where we're doing 1 front post double crochet and 2 regular double crochets. So that first chain 2 counts as the first stitch. So now we can go right into a front post double crochet. So yarn over, go around your post, draw up a loop, and complete your double crochet. And then 2 double crochets, and you'll be able to tell what to do just by looking at your pattern. And so we've created the top of a waffle here, and now we're creating the first box of a waffle right here. So continue on like that, doing 1 front post double crochet and 2 regular double crochets until you get down to the other end of your headband, and then start the video again. So here I'm at the end of my row again, and I'm going to be working this last stitch into the chain one more time. So I'm going to grab 2 loops of my chain onto my hook here, this is the part I find the most challenging, is when I have to work a stitch into the chain, and then I complete my double crochet. So that's the end of that row, and then chain 2, turn your work, and now we're on the back side again. The chain 2 counts as your first stitch, so yarn over, and then we're going to be working a front post double crochet into this one here. So front post double crochet into that one, and then 1 regular double crochet into that next stitch, and then 2 front post double crochets into the next 2, followed by 1 regular double crochet, 2 front post double crochets, 1 regular double crochet, and so on until you get down to the end of your row. And then what you're going to do is you're going to repeat that pattern of those 2 rows until you get the width of the headband that you want, and it's going to depend on whether you're making it for a child, a teenager, or an adult, as well as your personal preference as far as if you're making it for yourself or what you want your piece to look like. And then once you've reached your width, you can start the video again, and I will show you how to sew your ends together. We're just going to use the same yarn just to put it, we're just going to sew it together to make the actual headband part, and then you'll be done. So go ahead and make it the width that you want by repeating those 2 lines. I'll also have the written version of the pattern in the description, so you can have a look at that. And then I'll meet you back up once you've reached the width that you want. Okay, so now I did a total of 12 rows in the waffle stitch to complete my headband. And that got me to just about 4.5 inches wide, and that's where I'm going to leave that for my adult woman size headband. And then what I did after I was done the waffle stitch rows, once I got it to that point there, is I did one more row of half double crochet to finish it off to make it look about the same on the top and on the bottom. So that's what mine looks like. And then what we're going to do is we're going to match up the two ends. And I've already done half, so I took a little bit of my dark thread, as I actually just took the tail end that was sticking out and wove it back and forth to tie the dark part together. And then the red, I'm going to take what I have of the red. I've threaded my needle with the red, and then I'm going to use that to put this together, to put this end of the headband together. So I'll pull that through, and then I'll just weave that around. There's nothing specific about this technique, just sew these ends together. Just using whatever your preferred tapestry needle is. And do that so that your headband end is secured. And then all you'll have left to do is to weave in the ends. So you're just going to do that all along that edge. And I'm not going to show you all of that because that would be too much boring. And then what I did is I made a flower to go with my headband in one of the contrasting colors from the cake, another color from the cake, one of the colors that didn't show up in this headband but is also in the cake when you buy it originally. And I put all of my flowers on these alligator clips so that you can take them off if you don't want them on that day, switch them out for another color or just not have them on at all. So this could be a man's or a woman's headband. And then that can be clipped on. And then once the ends are woven in, that'll be ready to wear. So that's the tutorial for the lovely waffle stitch headband. And I will make another tutorial in the future to show you how to do that flower. So thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe for more videos.